Good morning, Bix Weir, roadroo.com with your morning horn of Z's, your sip of coffee. It is December 23rd, very illiquid week this week and next week because of the holidays. Not a lot of traders out there, so watch for some crazy stuff. I heard Tesla was melting up. Market riggers can do anything in these times. They can do anything all the time, but the little guys can even rig markets. So just be aware of that. Here's an article from Zero Hedge. Repo crisis fades away with second undersubscribed term repo, even as Pozar doubles down on doomsday. So the term repo, this one was going past the end of the year. End of the year is a big marker because that's when the banks need to cook their books with something. Keep that in mind. So this is the second time that a term repo was not oversubscribed. They still gave him 28.8 billion out of 35. 28.8 is not a sign that things are getting better. Now, then again, there was a $28 billion repo that had to be covered today because of another term repo of 28 was expiring today. So these just kind of wash each other out. If you look at, where is it? There we go. That's the 1 day. This is the overnight. They still needed 20.5 overnight, which isn't a lot. It's down from 35 on Friday. So is it a sign things have changed? No. Is it a sign that something else might be going on? Absolutely. And I'll get to that in a second. But Zero Hedge goes on and says they're not being, the old ones were oversubscribed and the new ones are not as subscribed, not hitting the full allotment. So what does it mean? Don't know. I don't expect everything to end on January 1st, and because I don't subscribe to the game that they're saying it is totally a cash funding end of year type of thing. It's not. Just like the end of September was not just a cash funding into the quarter. It's not. It's something deeper and something more powerful. I'm going to show you something really bizarre. And this is Steve Mnuchin, the Treasury Secretary, who's beyond criminal, by the way, head of IT for Goldman Sachs computer rigging, talking about US $100 bills being held offshore. You don't talk about this at all. You're not allowed to talk about it as Treasury Secretary, but he came out with Lou Dobbs last night, and then today we have this odd unfulfilled repo. Listen to what he says. Listen to what he says about the US dollar, or US $100 bills, physical bills.
And just a couple of things, if I may, before we wrap up here. And I've just got to, again, congratulate you, the president, the administration, Ambassador Lighthizer. I mean, it's astounding what has been achieved here. I don't think much of the media is giving you the credit that you deserve because it is historic. It's extraordinary. I want to turn to first the world's cash, $100 bills, most of it disappearing and unaccounted for. And apparently there's a quest to find out what happened to $1.5 trillion of US $100 bills. What's going on?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, the dollar is the reserve currency of the world, right, and everybody wants to hold dollars. And the reason why they want to hold dollars is because the U.S. is a safe place to have your money, to invest, and to hold your assets in right, U.S. dollars. And, it is interesting because in the world where everything's going digital and electronic payments, the demand for U.S. currency continues to go up. And literally, a lot of these $100 bills are sitting in bank vaults all over the world. And particularly in a world of negative interest rates, you can hold U.S. dollars and you don't have to lose money. So there's a lot of Benjamins all over the world.
Mr. Secretary.
That is just weird. What it tells me and why he's coming out. This was all this, the victory lap. Basically, this whole interview is a victory lap. Oh, President did this. And then he ends with this. This was a plant question. Lou Dobbs was told to ask about this because Steve Mnuchin is going to do something. Probably claim that $100 bills sitting in bank vaults count as cash at the end of the year. Count as the bank's cash. to rig the end of year accounting. So he's going to tell JP Morgan, Deutsche Bank, Citibank, all the banksters, if you have cash in your bank, physical cash, it counts. It counts as your being under the required limits. We don't have to change the rules, except include physical cash. And then you can claim that you have, it doesn't even matter. It's a trust thing. They're not going to go count all the physical $100 bills. JP Morgan say, yeah, we have 300 billion located in vaults. That's how they're going to rig their books at the end of the year. That's my take. Now, obviously, Mnuchin misses the obvious thing about having physical cash in your own possession. There's no third-party bank between you and your cash. The only credit you have to rely on is the U.S. government continuing to honor and print U.S. dollars. You don't have to worry. If you hold cash, you don't have to worry about third-party risk. And that's the big thing that the banks are worried about, and it should be the big thing that you are worried about. If you have any cash in the bank, you can just kiss it goodbye. At some point, probably first quarter, we're going to see it all come crashing down. So it's clear to me what Mnuchin's doing. I think he's doing it so that the banks can cook their books and don't have to rely on the billions, hundreds of billions in repos just for reporting purposes. Now watch at the end of the year them change the rules to say physical cash counts for reporting purposes. And it's easy to fake that number. It's harder to fake the electronic numbers. It's easy to say, oh, we have 100 billion in cash sitting in 47 different vaults because no one's going to go count it. And all you need it for is December 31st. So that's what I think is going on there. And then we have this article out of Bloomberg. The Fed is entrenched in the repo market. How does it get out? Central bank has plans to keep intervening into 2020. We've talked about this. Participants want answers from the Fed about long-term plans. At the Federal Reserve, 2020 will be all about making the repo market boring again. Policymakers will find this easier said than done. The central bank's liquidity injections, including almost $500 billion earmarked to ensure New Year's Eve is a snooze, the Treasury bill purchases have nudged the vital market for repurchase agreements back towards normalcy after a funding crunch sent rates soaring in September and has anchored the Fed's benchmark rate firmly within its policymakers, preferring a range of 1.5% to 1.75%. Yes, it looks like it, but no, it's not going to end, just like this article says. It's not going to end. Yes, they do need everything to flood the system on December 31st because that's the moment they report. And they're going to count physical cash. They're going to count 1.5 trillion in physical cash, just like Steve Mnuchin said, in $100 bills. They probably never counted it before, but they're going to count it this time. And there's no way to counteract it. These banks can say whatever. There's no way to check it. These banks can say, oh, physical cash in the bank is 1.5 trillion. It's all for cooking the books for the end of year. And then you're going to see a little drop off in the repos beginning in January, and then they're going to skyrocket again. They're not going to go down because, yes, it'll be an overnight operation where another couple billion, I think it hit 7 billion. 7 billion. 700 billion, sorry. 700 billion by the end of the year, including what they bailed out already in the permanent, including everything that I count on my spreadsheet. Now, you might wonder, why aren't the rates going up? Because they do reverse repos as well. Reverse repos is where they crush down. I expect one later today, by the way. It hasn't been posted yet, but we're gonna see one because the interest rates have gone down. They do that with reverse repos to keep the interest. It's a game. It is an ugly, stupid game. And if you read or watch the post I did yesterday on the financial gymnastics contortions that the banks have to do, this is a new one. The new one is, let's count physical $100 bills as part of the repo market because it's cash. And they have it. JP Morgan absolutely needed it. This is the solution. They don't have to change the rules theoretically. Jamie Dimon can say, yes, we have 100 billion in physical cash, hiding in Zurich. It's all bullshit. The whole game is bullshit. Anyway, that's it for Road to Ruda. On the private road, cryptos are creeping up. We're going to talk about that later today. And check out all the latest news at roadtoruda.com. Full repo analysis there on today's repo. It's a little pullback, but not much. Let me tell you, there's your hint. So all you private road members or Patreon, I post this also, the repo graph. Go check it out. This is Bix Weir, roadtoruda.com. Talk to you later.